Hello YouTube, I am Aardwolf, and this is my review of the highly touted and anticipated No Man's Sky from Hello Games, which is now available for the PC and the PS4. No Man's Sky is basically a first-person universe simulator that contains literally quadrillions of planets around which you can wander, exploring, collecting resources, crafting, and shooting stuff. When you start playing No Man's Sky, you awaken on a random planet with a busted ship. Now, some starter planets can be like paradise, while others can be brutal, uninhabitable places with high radiation, biohazard atmospheres, or scalding temperatures. Some planets will have hostile wildlife, while on others it'll be warm and fuzzy, so it may or may not be challenging to find the resources to fix your ship's system and get it flying again, but that will be your first goal in this game. Once you've done that, you'll follow some bird seeds to fix your hyperdrive and learn how to make fuel for it, and at that point you can start hopping from star system to star system. This is where the game opens up. You can either follow one of two loose, very loose plot threads, or just wander around mining resources, exploring, and slowly upgrading your 3 inventories with new slots and upgrades. Crafting is a major component of the game. Every upgrade will be crafted by you with resources mined by you, and in some cases you'll have to craft subcomponents of subcomponents, and irritatingly you have to craft everything in an open inventory slot every time. Occasionally you'll have to fight off hostile native wildlife on the ground or space pirates in space, and No Man's Sky isn't really as good at either of these things as a full-fledged, well-done shooter or spaceflight sim would be, but the core gameplay works fine despite some annoyances and quibbles. But it is repetitive, and these gameplay elements don't have enough depth to keep them evolving over the long haul. The plotlines don't either, so only the aggregate of the game's big-picture sandbox, everything working together, can make No Man's Sky a game that's compelling enough to keep playing it. But it doesn't. Unfortunately, there are 4 big issues with this game. First, its simulation isn't nearly as robust as explicit statements from Hello Games led players to believe. The factions don't have actual in-game behavior. They're in fact almost invisible in the game. They're just there. The planets don't simulate their ecologies or temperatures based on distances from their suns, and they don't rotate on their axis like we were told they would. They're just procedurally generated instances. The star systems are just skyboxes. AI wildlife doesn't exhibit any of the complex behavior we were shown. It's pretty much either hostile or not, attack on sight or not. Persistent elements like player-named discoveries wipe periodically, and multiplayer isn't just uncommon, it doesn't appear to be there at all. There are 0 reports of multiplayer actually working, where one player actually encounters another live person. This raises the larger question of why this game should be multiplayer at all or online, but that is an issue that is not unique to No Man's Sky, and it's better left for another video. Second, well, we were always given the impression that No Man's Sky would be a mostly undirected sandbox. We were also told that there would be a few threads to follow and that there would be something cool at the ends of those threads. Well, there are 2 threads. You can go to the center of the galaxy, or you can follow the path of Atlas, and in fact, neither of them have anything cool at the end. I will not spoil them, but if you want to be spoiled, those finales are on YouTube, and they're both hugely anticlimactic. Third, there is the UI. It is shit. It not only inherits all the clumsiness of a console port, but it's bafflingly inept even by that low standard. To recharge your equipment, you have to paw through menus in the middle of combat without having any ability to pause the game or bind hotkeys to do it. To activate pretty much anything, you can't just click. You have to hold the mouse button down, and for how long you have to hold it depends on exactly what you're doing. You have to upload all your discoveries individually. Yeah, every rock, flower, critter, and location in the world has to be pushed up with multiple clicks and button presses and claimed one at a time. Fourth, and this is the killer here, the asking price of $60 is simply way too high. This is fundamentally an indie game with an indie level of content and indie quality gameplay that is being sold for a AAA price. Now, whether we blame Hello Games or Sony for this is irrelevant. It is a bad value at its current price, and that is not okay. There are also graphics glitches, crashes to desktop, and unexplained performance issues and slowdowns that smell like memory leaks to me. Many Windows users are unable to launch the game out of the box at all without fiddling with the game's INI files, and many PS4 players find that the game just crashes every 90 seconds. There are also issues related to the design of the gameplay itself. This kind of completely open-ended gameplay frankly just isn't going to appeal to a lot of players. It's grindy and repetitive, and if you object to grind and repetition, or if you want a game that gives you anything more than the tiniest nudge of plot, then No Man's Sky is not going to be for you. The gameplay by itself is not awful, but it's not terribly compelling either. It can be relaxing if you're happy hopping in it for an hour or 2 of mining and exploring in a way that doesn't challenge you or engage very many brain cells, then you can certainly have a good time with No Man's Sky. That is how I have approached it, and I do not particularly regret it. So here's the bottom line on No Man's Sky. Wait for the price to come down, or for at least a few rounds of content patches to hit. The fundamentals of a great game are here, but as it stands, it's just a sort of good game, and it's not worth $60. Now, it may be that updates will add to the richness of the No Man's Sky universe and gameplay experience. Wait for those updates, or wait for the price to come down by $30 or $40, or go play Elite Dangerous, which, even though there's not much you can do outside of your ship, actually is the robust space sim that No Man's Sky is charging for but doesn't deliver. Or buy into Star Citizen, which is already offering more than Hello Games does, even though most of it's not out yet, and what's there is an alpha. No Man's Sky, keep your eye on it. There's stuff to like here, but give it a while when it might be a magnificent experience at a bargain price. But right now, there's better things to spend your money on, even if you want this kind of game.